But the real reason for the hatred, the viciousness, and this astonishing level of abuse is because they're more media savvy, they're more articulate, they're more empathetic, crucially they're more accomplished. Look at their careers, compare their careers. They're more accomplished and they're more attractive. So here is the real sin of Harry Windsor, and this only occurred to me last night. I don't know where you want to begin with this. I'd like to help you if you've been radicalised by the British media into hating this completely blameless couple, but I'm not sure that you're ready yet. I think when you have been radicalised, whether it is in the more traditional and awful ways with which we're all familiar, sort of far-right terrorism or Islamist fundamentalism, there was an awful lot of radicalisation going on social media, wasn't there, with anti-vax conspiracies and QAnon and Donald Trump won the election. That counts as radicalisation, obviously. And an awful lot of British people, including people I know and love, I have to be honest with you, have been completely radicalised by media coverage of Harry and Meghan. They would do really well to watch these programmes because they do a brilliant job of explaining what's gone on. But there are none so blind as those that will not see. And the problem we have in this country, and when you think about it, it's a Gordian knot of a problem. The problem we have in this country is that everybody relies upon the people who've peddled this bile about them to provide coverage of the films that they've made in order to respond to the bile. There are some glorious exceptions to this. I think I may have upset the great, the magnificent, the peerless Peter Hunt, who LBC turned to for matters of royal coverage. But Peter is not somebody who I include in the category of clowns pretending that they have some sort of magic telephone line to the throne. Peter talks us through the pageantry and the pomp, the tradition, the sort of unwritten constitutional elements of royalty. And it is always a pleasure to listen to him, never mind to talk to him. He helped me enormously after the passing of the late Duke of Edinburgh and indeed during the period of mourning for Her Majesty the Queen. But the rest of them, the ones who work for the newspapers, they are on trial. They are the accused. Now, you might think they're innocent. We might conclude that they're innocent. But can you think of any other... Well, actually, it always happens with the newspapers, doesn't it? Where do you get all your information on phone hacking? You get it from newspapers, even though all the phone hacking was done by newspapers. It takes somebody like The Guardian to actually blow the lid off what was being done by pretty much every other paper in the country. But the idea that we're now going to judge these documentaries, which were dedicated in large part, the first three, to explaining in forensic detail the ways in which collusion, if you like, between the royal establishment and the royal pack, the royal hack pack, the journalists on that beat, and of course their bosses, their editors, and ultimately their owners. I love the idea that the people who are on trial, the people who are being accused of launching vicious, often racist vendettas against Harry and Meghan, are writing all the articles about the programmes that they've made in order to blow the doors off what has happened to them. So, palace anger at assault on the Queen's legacy, writes a journalist who was part of the assault on Harry and Meghan. Palace and Netflix clash over Sussex's soap opera, writes a journalist who was part of the assault on Harry and Meghan. Sussex's TV show claims are a direct hit on late Queen's legacy, writes a journalist who was part of the vicious slurs directed at Harry and Meghan. An unashamedly one-sided story full of half-truths, writes Camilla Tominey in the Daily Telegraph, who wouldn't know a full truth if it landed on her head. All of the people who've written the articles that were pulled apart in fairly spectacular and forensic fashion last night. You remember the avocados? You remember the avocados? You remember the lily of the valley? Kate Middleton puts it in her wedding bouquet and it's a beautiful nod to tradition. Meghan Markle puts it in hers and it's a threat to the life of Princess Charlotte. You remember the avocados? Oh, it's a lovely cure for morning sickness that Prince William will be passing along to his pregnant wife. You remember the avocados? Meghan's favourite food causes famine and genocide. The same thing, a blimmin' avocado. But hey-ho, let's all turn to the journalists who have been part of this ludicrous, repeated hatchet job to find out what you should really think about their attempt to set the record straight. And let's address a couple of hilarious points. Why don't they go away then? Why don't they just be quiet? Because if someone was writing books, so someone you'd never met was writing books about you, I suspect you'd probably want to set the record straight. Never mind 22 pages of nonsense in the country's best-selling newspaper. If someone was writing actual books, appearing on television, touring the country, giving lectures, writing newspaper articles, doing radio interviews, if these people were writing actual books claiming to know what your life has been, I suspect you'd want to put the record straight yourself. So let's park all of that nonsense. The idea that they wanted a secret life, they wanted to live in obscurity when they decided to walk away from the royal family. They never said that. Another massive lie. But again, if I'd been part of the racist attacks, I'd probably be desperate to pretend that they'd ever expressed a desire to live in obscurity rather than to define the terms of their own relationship with the media instead of having it defined for them. I suspect that an objective observer who hadn't been part of the vendettas, hadn't been part of the unconscious, often, I think it's important to be fair about that, unconscious racist abuse of Meghan Markle, they probably aren't going to provide a full and frank account of what these films are actually like. And in fact, they were largely innocuous. I mean, the love story is what shines through. What do you think they find hardest to forgive? You've got Sarah Vine on the front of the Daily Mail today saying, I actually feel sorry for him. Harry is a very damaged man and I feel for him. So if you feel sorry for somebody as a consequence of childhood trauma, the best thing you can do is contribute to 22 pages of unhinged bile, pouring poison over every aspect of his existence and attacking his wife as if she was some sort of serial killer. That's the Sarah Vine school of compassion. Very well paid by the Daily Mail, of course, and what a bleeding heart she has. Harry is a very damaged man, and I feel for him. Here is my contribution to 22 pages of vitriol directed partly at him, but mostly at his blameless wife. Well, she's not blameless, is she? Because A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, where'd you get all that information from? Oh, I got it from the same places that are telling me the documentary's awful, James. Sorry, that's all right. Apology accepted. No curtsies necessary. How do we do it today? How do we do it today? I mean it. I'd love to help you de-radicalise. If you're sitting there and some of the viciousness and the vitriol, not just on social media, you hear it on air sometimes as well. You get the sense that people need rescuing. Like, how have you been reduced to this? Nick had a caller saying it was treason. Treason to take the mickey out of curtsying. Treason. How can you help? How can we help people like that? I don't think you're ready yet, are you? I don't think you're ready to ring me on the de-radicalisation question. If you are, I'm here to help. If you are surprised, now that I've held up that blooming mirror that I insist on holding up most mornings and you can't quite believe what you're seeing in it, if you want to give me a ring and we can work together towards de-radicalising you, that might be fun. 0345 606 0973. The starting point has to be this. I wish I didn't feel so angry with these people who I've never met and about whom everything I believe has been spoon-fed to me by people who make money out of hating them. 0345 606 0973. Or do we have a chat about curtsying, which is the only thing that these ghouls and vampires have been able to find to attack her with? 3 hours of footage detailing appalling treatment from the British media, and the British media responds by pretending to be outraged at her finding the practice of having to curtsy for her new boyfriend's nan absurd. I don't know. Phone lines are open. 0345 60 973 is the number that you need, and I want you to tell me either what it's like to have been radicalised by British newspapers into hating this completely blameless couple, or why curtsying is something that we should all still do. 0345 60 973. And a quick visit to Idiot's Corner? No, I'll do it after this. They're more media savvy, they're more articulate, they're more empathetic. Crucially, they're more accomplished. Look at their careers, compare their careers. They're more accomplished and they're more attractive. So here is the real sin of Harry Windsor, and this only occurred to me last night. But the real reason for the hatred, the viciousness, and this astonishing level of abuse is because they make a complete mockery of royalty itself. The idea that he gets the top job and he sits in the sidecar for the rest of his life is absolutely absurd. But we can never ever admit that because it shakes the very foundations of the royal family.